Do you know what this is called?
Stole.
The zucchini weenie. Oh yeah, it's double organic. Okay, so basically, when you come home and you gotta make some food, you wanna make a salad, and you open the fridge or it's on the counter using all your ingredients in the house, and you haven't been grocery shopping for a week and you don't have that much to work with. That's the scenario that's in our head right now. And that's the scenario that you're gonna create for me. And so I'm gonna get you all to shout out 10 ingredients and we're gonna make something. I have no idea what we're gonna make, but you're gonna get the machine working in here.
Mushroom.
Oh, mushroom.
Avocado. Mango.
Hey. I'm not like one of those people who type in a courtroom.
You're not?
Paper and pen here. Mushroom. So that's what we're gonna end.
U.S.
What kind of mushroom? Portobello, cremini, or white?
What's available to us?
I will decide mushroom.
Oh,
I need to have some freedom. Maybe I need to have a lifeline, like phone a friend. Like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what to say. Say avocado or something like that. Alright, so yeah.
Avocado.
You want avocado?
yay, mango.
Celery. What else we got?
Did you get mango?
I got mango.
Tomato.
Tomato.
I'll still
Anything else? What is that?
It's like
A surprise ingredient. Caraway seeds. No idea what this tastes like.
no you see. Coconut.
Coconut?
Yeah.
How about fennel?
Oh.
Do we have fennel? I love fennel. Fennel holds a special place in my heart. You think you do?
Yeah. Fennel, cilantro, parsley.
Coriander. Oh, that's called cilantro.
Cilantro?
No
That
coriander.
is cilantro.
We don't have it.
Is there another herb that you like?
Is there parsley or basil? Basil.
Parsley or basil? Basil?
There's parsley over there.
So whatever we have.
Hey, we already have parsley.
They don't have it.
Unfortunately, we don't have cilantro. I'm as unhappy as you are.
Zucchini.
You do have cilantro.
This cilantro.
Oh, I thought you said we didn't.
No, we do have cilantro.
Oh, we do.
No, we got cilantro.
There was a miscommunication. Cilantro was said first, so we'll use cilantro. Actually, no. We have parsley over here, so I don't want food waste, right? So we use the parsley there. Anything else? Let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anything else? 2 more ingredients?
Somebody said zucchini.
Oh, zucchini? I didn't write that down. And anything else? Cucumber.
Scallions?
We have 10.
Oh, we have 10 already. Okay.
Okay. Now let's see, what can we make? So, I'm going to get you to retrieve some of these ingredients and
Put down quantity.
yeah. My brain's working here.
Oh, it's a miracle.
You promise?
This is the first. Is there smoke coming out yet?
Yes.
Please go retrieve those for me.
Can you read his writing?
That's the next challenge.
Oh yeah, I can't read it. Cool.
Okay, so I did pass these around. This is an excerpt from my ebook that I wrote that I just give out for free to people who subscribe to my mailing list. And so this is basically your everything you need to know to make raw food recipes. So we have the 5 tastes, for example. So we have sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and there's like umami, which is your more savory stuff, your spicy stuff. And you want to have a balance. If you have 3, 4, 5 of the 5 tastes, that's when your recipe is going to have that kind of flavor that you're looking for. And so sweet, you can have dates or bananas or mangoes. There's so many sweet fruits that come to mind, although you can't just use them interchangeably. If a dressing uses a couple dates, you can't really put some banana in there. It's not necessarily going to work. But we're going to cover more of that soon. Sour, we got lemon, lime, orange. Orange could be sweet, orange could be sour. It depends which type you're getting. Some are more sour than others, some are more sweet. Tangelos, they can be a little bit sour, whereas honey tangerines are like super sweet. Salty, it's going to be a lot of your green veggies, celery, spinach. Higher quality greens are going to be saltier. I'm not a huge fan of salt. Seaweed, sea veggies, you can also get some salty flavors there as well. Sun-dried tomatoes, very salty. Savory stuff, you got mushrooms, can be savory, different herbs, your fats, whether you're using some avocado or some coconut or some nuts or seeds. Not a huge fan of nuts or seeds. As you see in my book, Nuts About No Nuts, I don't really use too many nuts or seeds. And then bitter things, you got kale, dandelion, other bitter things. Some greens, they can be bitter as well, although sometimes they're salty. Sometimes they're sweet. It really depends on the quality you're getting. So we have the 5 tastes. Now, I'm just going to quickly go through this excerpt of my book here as he's getting the ingredients. You got your 5 tastes. So if something's too sour, if you've added too much lemon or something to what you're making, and you don't want it to be so sour, you could add something that's a little bit sweeter to help balance it out. That might be some more mango, right? If you've put too much lemon into something, maybe try some more mango. You could also try some fat to help mellow the sourness out. Now, if something's too salty, which generally in raw food prep, it's not really going to happen unless you're using actual salt. You're not going to have too much of an issue with salty food. But if you do have maybe too much of a sea vegetable that you're using, or too much of dried tomatoes that are going to have that really salty taste, you can always balance that out with some sweeter stuff as well. Now, if something's too spicy, generally a fat is going to help mellow out something that's being too spicy. If you add things that are sweet, it might have a bit of an effect, but definitely if something's way too spicy and you need to kind of bring that recipe disaster back to life because you've just added way too much of a hot pepper or something, you might want to add something that's a bit more fatty to it. And you might also want to dump what you've made out into a bowl and only use some of what you've made to kind of get rid of some of that overtly spicy stuff that you've just created. And then if something's too bitter, sweet tastes sometimes go well with bitter taste. So if something's really bitter, if you have a really bitter lettuce, a mango-based dressing might work really well on that because the mango is going to bring in the sweet. And this is all in the book you can get for subscribing to my mailing list. And I actually have I have cards here that I can give out with my website on it, or I have an email list sign up that you can sign up on. Now, I'm going to run through a couple ways that you can thicken something. Because if you want to make a dressing or something that's really thick, and you're using a lot of watery ingredients, because fruits and veggies are just packed with water, sometimes you're not going to get that thickness, right? If you're blending cucumber and tomato, you're just going to have a juice, not a really thick sauce. So I'm going to list out a couple ingredients that you can use to thicken your sauces. So you have dried tomato, dried mushroom. You could use nuts or seeds because they are also dried, although I recommend to use them sparingly, and also recommend to pre-soak them to bring their water content up for easier digestion. Next, you can use other dried things like dates or raisins to thicken something up. But then you have to be careful not to use only dates to add thickness to something. Otherwise, it's just going to be super sweet. Dehydrated banana can help thicken something up if you're blending it. You can use coconut. Now, coconut's interesting. If you use coconut and blend, for example, here's some young coconut back here. If you blend some young coconut up with some other ingredients and put that in the fridge is going to help thicken things up, right? So if you put something in the fridge for an hour, it's going to help thicken it up, especially other things like strawberries. They have pectin in it, all these different berries with pectin. It's going to help thicken it up. So there's natural ways to thicken things up. What else do we have here? If you want to use avocado or mango, those things are going to be thick when you blend those up. You can also blend in zucchini. If you blend zucchini all on its own, it's actually quite thick all on its own. Do you have a question?
No.
I was just
Exercising.
all good. Just making sure. You're welcome to ask questions. And lastly, berries, as I have already mentioned. And I also mentioned some techniques for thickening. So the refrigerator is one technique. So if you have something that you want to thicken up a bit more, for example, sometimes I'll make a sour cream out of young coconut, a little bit of lemon juice and some of the coconut water, and blend that up. And then I can put it in the refrigerator and it's going to thicken up a lot more. You can also use a strainer to thicken things. So if I was going to blend up some tomatoes, some sun-dried tomatoes, herbs, that kind of stuff, and make a tomato sauce, if you pour that onto your zucchini noodles, you're going to basically have a big bowl of water. It'll be thick in the blender, but you pour it on there, and now suddenly you've got all this water. Thank you very much. That looks excellent. You can leave it right there on that pan. Tomatoes are okay. Mango. Yeah, mango. Excellent. Actually, no, that's all good. I do actually have some celery here that's chopped, and I can use some of that if I need as well. Is that everything?
No cucumbers.
No cucumbers? Not sure how I feel about that.
They shredded it.
All good. Thank you very much.
Shredded cucumber?
If you bring some shredded cucumber, that'll be okay. Okay, let's see. Where was I? Yeah, so you use a strainer, right? That's gonna you're gonna basically get about a cup of water if you strain like a tomato sauce. If you're making a thick tomato sauce for zucchini noodles and you strain it, you can strain all that water out and discard that excess. And now you've got a thick tomato sauce, and it's going to replicate a nice thick zucchini noodle pasta much better. Lastly, if you want to thicken something, you can use the dehydrator. So if I was going to make a stew of some sort, I could dehydrate it to warm it up as well for 3 or 4 hours, and it's going to lose a lot of its water content and become much thicker. So that's another way you can thicken things up. Again, this is all in the book if you want to get it for free. And
What's your free ebook?
it's a free ebook. Now, if you want to add volume, sometimes adding water is not going to work. Yeah, you can just leave that wherever. Perfect, thank you so much. You know, if you're adding water to something to add volume, it's going to taste like water. And no one wants watered down food, they want it to be flavorful. So there are ways to make something like more soupy, to have a watery base without adding water and losing all the flavor. So you could use a juice, whether it's orange juice, lemon juice, apple juice, beet juice, any sort of juice, any vegetable can be juiced, and use that as your base rather than using water. Coconut water, tomatoes are super good for being high water content, and they can make a great soup base. Celery, if you blend up celery, it's going to stay quite watery. And so if you need to add more volume to a sauce, celery or cucumber, chop that up and add it to the sauce to add more volume. And you're not going to water it down too much, because we want to add volume, but not water it down excessively. Bell peppers, mushrooms, zucchini, peel it if you don't want it to be a green recipe. You know, oftentimes with raw foods, we blend stuff up and it ends up green, which it'll taste fine, but if you don't want that green color, just peel the zucchini when you're blending it. And mango also is great for adding volume. What else do we have? Ooh, color. So if we want to make something yellow, It's not really easy to make something yellow unless you're using bell peppers and mangoes, bananas. There's not too many different yellow things, but you can make things yellow. Blue, you really can't make something blue, not with fruit, not in my experience. If you put blueberries in something, it's going to become purple. So you can't really make blue so easily. Red, you use watermelon, beet, a lot of things like that. Tomatoes, of course. I'm just running through this really quick, and then I'm going to get making something here. Green, obviously using lettuce is very easy, but tomatillos are also good. Celery, things like that. Purple, blackberries, coronation grapes, plums, lots of things like that. And lastly, oh, I'm missing a page, but in the book I have a like international flavors section. So if you want to make like Asian food or Mexican food or a whole other list of kind of international cuisines, I have all those ingredients listed as well in my free ebook here. So if you want to make something that's Asian, you can kind of use those flavors. Or if you want to make something Mexican, you know, I have tomatoes, avocados, cilantro, cumin, things like that. So anyway, I'm going to get working here with what we got. So what I'm going to do is take these mangoes and I'm going to blend them with some avocado. That's like a really tasty. We do mango, tomato, and avocado. Very nice combination. So I'm going to make a bit of a sauce with these. Then I'm going to use chopped up zucchini and cucumbers. So I'm actually going to get a spiralizer. I'm going to spiralize zucchinis. We're going to have some chopped up cucumber with a nice sauce, and then we have some parsley that's going to get pulsed in that as well. Alrighty, so I'm just going to get to work here.
I'm gonna ask them for a sterilizer.
Yes, if my lovely assistant, or you can get a sterilizer as well. Have a peeler. So when I'm working with mangoes, it is my preference to peel them, because you know, a lot of people they cut off the side, but I find that if you're peeling your mango, you can get a lot more out of it. This is a ceramic peeler, which works really well. So it takes me about 15 seconds to peel a mango, and then
Does it have to be ripe? Well, yeah.
the food we're eating always has to be ripe. We always want ripe fruit.
Would you call that ripe?
Yes.
As long as they're soft. And sometimes they don't like.
So mango is our sweet, and it's also going to give us that thick sauce. A nice thick base. So I've been eating raw foods for 5 years now, and when I started, most things I made didn't taste very good. But the good thing is I'm a very stubborn person, so I stuck with it. And it took a while, but I learned how to combine flavors to make tasty food. And so obviously that's what I'm here to teach you to do. And after a couple years, do you want to eat the pits? Suppose you can eat the pits. I was going to save them for myself. Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I first went raw, didn't really like the food I was eating too much. Fruit, it's a no-brainer. But with the greens, you may not believe this, but I didn't eat my first salad until I was 20 years old. And so going raw is a bit of a learning curve. And I slowly gained a taste and appreciation for salads. Alright. I'm going to chop up a couple tomatoes here for some chunks.
What ratio are you using? Salad?
That's a good point. See, I don't really measure in my recipes too much. I like to use ratios, and so in my head I have for any various ingredients kind of a ratio in my head that might work, like how many of this and that you might blend. And so I might use 2 or 3 smaller, like a toffle mangoes to 1 avocado. These mangoes are a bit larger, and I'm also going to chop some of these up. But for example, I'll use 2 of these mangoes, 1 avocado, maybe 1.5 avocados blended, and then I'll put like 3 or 4 tomatoes in, and that's going to come out with a pretty nice consistency all on its own using just the raw foods. And you can always thicken things in a pinch with some ingredients. You might have like, oh, I'll throw like 2 or 3 sun-dried tomatoes in there just to add that tiny little bit more thickness.
Yes, John.
And over the course of time, as I experimented with recipes, some of them tasted really good, and I put those in my book. But I also have a lot of free recipes on my website that you can definitely take a peek at. I'm going to chop up the yellow tomatoes and put that in the like not blender, because I want to have the different color variants. I don't want to just blend up my yellow tomatoes with my yellow mangoes. I'd rather have those out here, giving some interesting colors. Really wish I had a serrated knife, but oh well. It's always tough being out of your element in the kitchen. It's like, where's my stuff? So right there, got a pretty thick sauce, and haven't even used any dried ingredients, but that could thicken it up a lot more if you wanted that. Yeah, so we'll throw some chopped up cucumbers in there as well. Give some different consistencies. I'm also going to chop up an avocado into our sauce here. Now normally when I chop avocado, I like to actually chop it with a wet knife, and the reason for that is that in biology or chemistry you might have learned about hydrophobic and hydrophilic molecules, and basically water and oil, they don't go together, or water and fat. And so I'm just getting my knife wet here in the tomato juice. That should make it not stick together, because if you chop an avocado together, it still wants to stick together. It doesn't matter if you chop it 1,000 times. And then you try and stir it into whatever you're making, and you have just a giant clump of avocado. I see you nodding. You're like, yeah, happens every time. But if you chop it with a knife that's just a little bit wet, it'll fall apart quite easily. Oh, I almost lost that mango. I would have eaten it. So now the avocado just falls apart. So little tip for you. Pulse the parsley in at the end, along with some of the green onion. Not putting too much in.
John, what kind of spiralizer do you have at home?
I have the Joyce Chen. It does the angel hair stuff, but these, the ones like this, they now have the adapter that makes the angel hair pasta as well. So, but I still do like the Joyce Chen, because when I'm spiralizing like 50 zucchinis making food for a lot of people. I can put a drill on the Joyce Chen and just go zing, 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 versus doing
Manual labor.
this all day. So the suction cups suck. Actually, that's why I brought more bowls.
Oh.
Stick a bowl like that. Haven't used one of these for a while. Do you know what this is called?
Stool.
The zucchini weenie. It's a technical term. There's no laughing. So, when I find that there's a big bend in the zucchini, what I do, it's going to be kind of tricky to show you, but I put the one end on that attachment. Then I don't put it over here in the center. I put it over on the edge. And this way, as the zucchini spins, this part here is going to be centered, but then this part over here is going to kind of swing way out here. But if I had it centered, the zucchini would keep falling out and it just wouldn't work. So if I do it like this, I'll move the Vitamix here, you're going to see that it's going to have a really big spin over here, but over here it's staying centered on the cutting part. And so we're going to spin it like this for a bit, but then now that we're at this point here, now I can unattach it and put it in the center and continue doing it. So if you ever have a zucchini that's just like, oh, wonky, that sometimes helps. And I can give you another tip, maybe, if I have another wonky zucchini, and I do. You know, you have to appreciate that sometimes vegetables grow like this. Even though you want it to be straight for maybe making a lasagna, they don't all grow like that. So if I have a zucchini like this that's got a bend in it, but I want to make a zucchini that has straight noodles like that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it when I'm looking at the bend in the zucchini. If I'm looking at the straight part and I cut it straight, it's going to have a bend in it. Then all over your zucchini noodles are going to have a bend in it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But if you have all straight zucchinis, except for one, now you're trying to put zucchini noodles together that you have one that's straight and one that's like this. You can't make a lasagna because you're going to have big gaps and holes and it's not going to work so well. But if you cut it when you're looking at the bend, you kind of eyeball a point where, like that, well now you just turn your bent zucchini into two straight pieces. So there's another little tip. Now when you mandolin slice all your thin slices for zucchini, you have all these straight pieces and you can therefore make your nice little lasagna there. I wish I had some smaller knives. Mike Vlassi likes big knives. He's doing a demo before me. I'm just going to give this a quick chop, otherwise these noodles are going to be ginormous. Ginormous noodles. Make noodles like this. Whoa. Make noodles like this and chop them up, and then you have macaroni. So there's lots of different things that we can do with the volume, the flavor, the thickness, the textures, just the different shapes with all these different tools and gadgets.
The camera shut off. That's okay.
The camera shut off. That's okay. Okay. I'm just gonna chop up a couple more things because that's not gonna hurt. Just kidding. I'll spiralize the last one here. Give you some more zoodles. Well, we have all sorts of interesting devices now. If you make noodles out of a zucchini, it's called zoodles. If you make zucchini, or if you make noodles out of cucumber, it's called koodles. If you make it out of daikon radish, I guess it could be doodles. What else do you make zucchini out of? Or I mean noodles out of? Yam? Yoodles? Yoodlehi? Beets? Boodles. But it's a good thing that I can't think of anything that starts with a P. Otherwise, people would think we're eating dogs. Chop up our zooks a couple more times. Whoa.
You have a smaller knife, right?
I know, but now I'm starting to like it. It's like I'm a samurai. I'm a fruit ninja. But no, normally I use different knives. So how many ingredients did we have? We had zucchini and cucumber, tomato and mango, and avocado. So basically 5 ingredients and a little bit of a green onion and some parsley. You can always have those herbs dry, so even if you don't have like some herbs on hand, you can add that kind of flavor with some dried stuff that you're probably gonna have on hand. It's pretty much like 5 ingredients. I would hope that when you walk home or come into your home at the end of the day, you have at least 5 things in your home that you can, you know, make something with. Did I make enough sauce?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's double organic. My book is obviously nut and seed free. I don't prefer to eat nuts and seeds, and I generally don't feel as optimal when I'm eating nuts and seeds. And there's a couple reasons why people might want to omit nuts and seeds or definitely limit them. Low water content, high in fat. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult to digest. If you're really critical about this, they might not be raw, unless you're like paying top dollar for like some company that's like definitely making actual raw nuts and seeds. Because most of them, they're dehydrated at a higher temperature because it's faster. It's all about money at the end of the day to dry things faster. That's the other thing, they're expensive. So nuts and seeds, they're expensive, whereas fruits and veggies, they're going to be a lot less expensive. Avocado is less expensive than the equal amount of cashews. How old are they? You have no idea. You could buy them from the store, they might be a year old. And raw foods is all about eating fresh foods. And so those are a couple of the reasons why I don't eat nuts and seeds, not too often anyway. Maybe if someone makes something at a potluck I host. Do you have a question? Okay, and the last reason why I really don't eat nuts and seeds is because in nature, it takes a lot of work to get into nuts and seeds. If you had a walnut or something, first there's this outer coating that you have to tear off, then you gotta crack it open, then you eat it, and it's probably not even gonna taste that great. And so it's a lot of effort. That it's nice that we have these machines that are just gonna crack tons of these nuts and seeds open. We can just buy bags and bags and bags of them. But who here has ever wanted to eat some celery? And then they thought it'd be a great idea to open up the almond butter and dip some of that celery into the almond butter. And then sure enough, you're scraping the sides of the jar and there's no more almond butter left. And then you feel it crack. Anyone ever done that, or is that just me? Yeah, I see a lot of nodding heads. It's like, it's so addicting. It's so calorically dense. And it's just something we wouldn't come across in nature. We wouldn't come across in nature a big bowl of nuts and seeds, especially some that are like salted and roasted and designed to get you to overconsume them. And so just keep that in mind when you're eating nuts and seeds, that a little goes a long way. I prefer to use avocado because it's fresh, it's got water content in it, not as much as a tomato, but it does have water content. It's going to digest a lot better. Young coconut, this can make some wonderful creamy sauces,
Like Caesar dressing.
nice and fresh. You can make Caesar dressing with it. That's in my book. You can make chocolate pudding. Basically, you could use young coconut to replace in any recipe, like a cashew or any nuts or seeds. Works really well. You could use it for making the creamy part of a lasagna, any sort of creamy sauce you want to make. So like young coconut and avocado, those are my go-tos for overt fats. They digest well and taste great. So I don't hardly ever eat any nuts or seeds. And so yeah, we can serve this up. I'm proud to announce the release of my free raw recipe app. Do you want over 100 original raw food recipes in the palm of your hand? Click the links to download or search Double Organic on your phone. Oh yeah, it's Double Organic. Did you know I offer raw food coaching? Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Got epic recipes, fitness, and raw food motivation. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Whoa, look at all those recipes. Those look tasty. Give me some of that.